think we are recording now. I think it should say that. Everybody should see it, hopefully. So, okay. So for those of you, hopefully everybody, their connection is working and you're able to follow along. What we're going to be doing, I said, housekeeping, obviously, course evaluations. If you enjoyed the class, please let me know. If you didn't, just keep it to yourself. And what we're going to be doing today is our final. It's going to be AS 5 officially in our syllabus. And what this is this is going to be, you're going to write a story based on Brad's presentation. And Brad's going to be talking about a lot of things. He's going to be talking about his personal story and a little bit of his life philosophy. I think most people say that this is the most memorable thing about this class, and I hope you guys feel the same way. It's going to be emotional in some cases. It's going to be funny in some other cases. And afterwards, we will have a question and answer session with Brad in the same way that we did with me in the very first class that we had. So what I expect out of this, as I already said last week, I'll re-emphasize 800 to 1,000 words, which should be really easy based on this story. 800 to 1,000 words on Brad's presentation. And what you want to do is you want to write this to me as if I weren't here. So come at it from that perspective. What needs to be known then? Well, there's the who, what, when, where, and why, right? Who it is, what it is, when, where, how it took place. So I think, it's important to mention that it was via Zoom in Ryan's class, blah, 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 blah. Does that make sense? That's kind of the nut graph of it all, right? The who, what, when, where, and why. But we also want to remember the things that we've took with us in this class this semester. So there's an architecture that I've provided for you that gives a really good roadmap for how to write these kinds of features. Utilize that. We're going to think about things like AP style. It doesn't have to be perfect, but when you're talking about numbers and places, things like that, I want you to think about that and check on it before you turn it into me. We're going to talk about things like get the spelling of the names right, get the ages right, get the places correct. And if you don't know what they are, ask. And if you don't know, even after this, text me and ask. You will have until 11:30 a.m. on Thursday to turn this into me via email. Just a Word document attached to an email. Turn it into me. That's going to be Ask 5. Sound good? One moment. I'm in the office. I got to fix something. Hold on one second. All right. Close the door, so I think I can be loud. Any questions at all about moving forward? There's one other thing that I wanted to reemphasize, and that's a second source. Obviously, Brad is going to be the first source for his story. You're going to want to get one more. Now, more than likely, that's going to be somebody in your class. You want to reach out to somebody in your class. As I said, people are going to react to this. It always happens. It's going to be funny. It's going to be sad. People are going to react to it. And reach out to some of those people. Send them an email. I'm going to expect one other source. So it can be somebody in this class or somebody that's seen Brad's presentation in the past. And he does this a lot. So there's probably a lot. There's probably people who have taken this class who have seen this presentation. It could be somebody like that. But one other voice that talks about what it was like. Okay. Is that it? Remember, short paragraphs. These are things I like. Any other questions before we get started? Nope. All right. Brad, what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow you to share your screen. And I can read if you would like. Sound good? Okay. Just want to make sure that everybody can see the screen. If not, please let me know because this is pretty important. Okay, I got a thumbs up from Rachel. I don't care about anybody else. As long as Rachel can see it, that's good. Kyle says yes. Okay, good. If anybody has a problem, let me know. All right, Brad. If you want, we can just get it started, and then afterwards, everybody will have the question and answer session. Right now, as I see, there we go. My Story by Brad Fritz. I was born on May 8th, 1984. I was the youngest of three sons. Later, my younger sister was born. Sports were big in my family, and I was raised learning to play every sport. I was also fairly smart growing up. 6 years old, rocking the Speedo. God. I was raised Catholic and went to a Catholic grade school. I believed in God no more or no less than the average kid. As I got older, my relationships with people grew, as did my relationship with God. For the most part, I was a happy boy. I had many friends growing up, and I had no idea what would happen in the future. When I was in the second grade, my godfather, who was also my cousin, fell off an overpass coming home from a Reds game. He was in a coma 3 years before dying. Childhood. I believe childhood ends the moment you realize you won't live forever and that you too will eventually die. For me, childhood began ending in the second grade when my cousin fell. It began to finalize ending with his death in the fifth grade. Resisting childhood ending. Even with my cousin's death, I tried to resist becoming an adult. I wanted to be a child forever. I wanted to live a normal life. I kept playing sports and being a typical kid. My early life. Aside from my cousin passing, I lived a pretty normal childhood. I played every sport imaginable, and I was fairly good at most of them. When I was in the sixth grade, my team won the Junior Pro National Championship in basketball. Eighth grade, I made the bowl cut look hot. High school. I was always looking forward to going to school at Covington Catholic. On the entrance exam, I scored in the top 3 and won an academic scholarship. I loved my first year. I played varsity football and I made all region for freshman basketball. High school. As freshman year ended, I was loving life. I had a girlfriend I liked. I had more friends than I needed. Summer rolled around and I partied all summer like it could never end and I could never get hurt. That was my flaw. Sophomore year. As sophomore year started, I looked at school only as a way to play football. I began to play more, starting on defense, returning kicks, and doing other small things. I still had the same girlfriend, and I loved life. This was my football picture from that year. I was cute, kind of chunky, but cute. Friends. At the time, I had two best friends. One played soccer and football at Covington Catholic. One played football at Beechwood. I was in a few fights, but I really didn't hate anyone, and no one really hated me. September 17th, 1999. On Friday, September 17th, we played Beechwood High School in football. We got crushed. Since football was such a big part of my life, I was upset. September 18th, 1999. After football practice in the morning, I went to the Covington Catholic versus Beechwood JV football game with my girlfriend and a few of her friends. We watched my one best friend play for Covington Catholic and my other best friend play for Beechwood. I also had more friends on both teams. That night. Later that night, my two best friends called me from the one's house. They didn't tell me what they had been doing before I got there or what we would be doing that night. I paged my brother and asked him to pick me up at our house and drop me off at my friend's. Being a cool brother, he did. My friend's house. He dropped me off, and my two friends already had the night figured out. They told me we were going to a party in the cemetery. They didn't tell me how we were getting there. We were all only 15. My best friend, who lived where we started the night, said his sister's boyfriend gave him the keys to his car. I knew it was dangerous, but these were my two best friends. We left his house, and before going to the cemetery, we stopped down the street at another kid's house. Adding ignorance to stupidity, we started drinking. I had about a beer in my system when I went out front to toss football with another kid who was already there. As the night went on, we left his house and went to the cemetery. He wasn't driving too great. We got to the party at the kid's house who lived in the cemetery. The cemetery. At the party, we talked to people and just sat around for a while. We drank more. Some people called us stupid. Some acted like nothing was happening. No one stopped us. We stayed there a while. Then we left again. We went and got gas. We came back. And then we left one more time. This time we drove around the cemetery. He was messing around, speeding. Before we got out of the cemetery, he sped around one last corner. Wreck specialists say we were going at least 55 miles per hour around the turn. We clipped a headstone, did 2 360s, and struck a tree. I was thrown through my seatbelt into the tree. Some wreck specialists say if I hadn't been wearing my seatbelt, I would have been thrown past the tree and would be fine. Others say I would have been thrown directly into the tree and would have been killed. The passenger went for help, and the driver stayed with me as I lay there fighting for my life. When the paramedics got to the car, I was trapped in the back seat, but they couldn't see me gasping for air, and they could hear me gargling on my own blood and choking to death. They had no way to get to me, and waiting to take the car apart meant that I would die. They knocked out the back windshield, and an EMT that was small enough to fit in the car climbed into the back seat with me. She lifted my head and called for the suction to get the blood and fluid out of my mouth, but the car was too crushed to get the suction into the back seat. I was going to choke to death. The EMT did her best to clear the blood and other fluid out of my mouth with her fingers, but she realized that it wasn't going to be enough and that I was going to die. She lifted me to firefighters who were waiting to pull me out of the back windshield. When they pulled me from the car, they realized that my right lung was collapsed. My jaw was dislocated and fractured. Paramedics say my head was swollen to the size of a basketball. The medic on the scene immediately stuck a breathing tube down my throat to try and keep me alive. I was air carried to University Hospital. At University Hospital. When I arrived at the hospital, I was not breathing on my own. That first night, there was close to 100 people in the ER waiting to see if I would live. They didn't expect me to live through the night, through that first night. They wired my fractured jaw shut. I was diagnosed with a traumatic brain injury and given a 20% chance to live. Coma. Somehow I lived through the first night, but I was still unconscious. Having been wrong once, doctors now said I would never wake up from the coma. I spent 2 weeks in ICU. Time passed, and I still lay unconscious. Coma. I was declared brain dead on October the 5th and was transferred to Children's Hospital. Months passed, and I still lay in a coma. My right lung collapsed again. As they lifted my arm to put in a chest tube, they dislocated my shoulder. One night, I opened my mouth so wide that it snapped the wires in my mouth. After my godfather, thoughts of me never waking up weren't too unreal. Hope. In November, they discovered that I might not be brain dead. After 3 months, I started to show signs of life. I opened and closed my hand on call one day. Hope had gotten so small that it made my mom cry. That was my first sign of life. Waking up. In December, I began to regain consciousness. I got confused and mad at the world real quick. At first, the only thing I remembered from before the wreck was my family and close friends. I was so angry and confused that I didn't even want to be alive. My injury was so severe that at first I couldn't stand up or even mutter small words. I was so angry at the world that I didn't think about God. My anger grew as people told me what had happened that night. For the longest time, it was the anger that fueled my recovery. I was discharged 5 months after the wreck and still couldn't even stand. Starting over. After being discharged from the hospital, I went back for the second half of the school year. That was my first real time learning about God since the wreck. I soon became mad at God also. I wondered why God was punishing me. Mad at the world and God, I had little left. Nothing special happened that summer, and my life was losing meaning. I learned that I had to repeat my sophomore year since I missed so much time. As my second sophomore year started, I was becoming more and more angry at God and the world. I was asking why I was so easy for God to hurt. My faith kept getting smaller as bad things kept happening. 1 year. I stayed mad at God and the world as the 1 year anniversary of the wreck came up. 1 year passed and it was nothing to anyone besides me. I realized that the only things I was remembering were the bad things that happened in life. That made it very hard to live. Time went on. I was raised learning how selfish suicide was and how it was taking the easy way out. I don't think that anyone else that has committed suicide was selfish or took the easy way out, but that would have been the case for me. So I never even considered suicide. Only remembering the bad things meant that I was constantly watching a horror film over and over again in my mind. I started remembering more from before the wreck. As time went on, I became very unhappy. Everyone always expected me to smile, and even though I was unhappy, I smiled. Even though I was smiling, my unhappiness soon grew to pure hatred. Suicide began to cross my mind. The only thing that kept me from taking my own life was knowing it's selfish and taking the easy way out. I had gotten through my second sophomore year. Even though it seemed like no time at all had passed, the 2 year anniversary came around. By this time, I could walk a fair amount without or with a cane, and I could talk some. At this time, I had little faith in God. And I thought, if there was a God, he must hate me. It got to the point where my only real motivation to waking up in the morning was in hopes that I would be in another accident and that would kill me. September 11th. I came into class on this Tuesday to find everyone staring at the TV. Someone told me what had happened in New York in the morning. I knew my cousin, who was my godfather's brother, worked in the World Trade Center. But I didn't know where. After what had happened to his brother, I thought there was no way he was hurt. Everyone joked about it, but I had the worst feeling. Just before lunch, I was called into the gym. I saw my dad sitting in the stands with a blank look on his face. I knew. I said, "Brian?" He nodded, and my head dropped. A single tear formed in my eye. I quickly wiped it from my eye and raised my head. Right then, I quit believing that there was even a God that hated me. Now I didn't care how selfish it was or that it was taking the easy way out. Suicide seemed like the only way. 1 week later marked 2 years since the wreck. I started considering how I would kill myself. This went on for around a month. There were constant reminders on TV and the radio of what had happened that day. I think everyone knew what was going through my head. My friends told me that in October they were going on a retreat. They asked me if I was going on it. I decided I might as well go. Retreat. I went into that weekend not knowing what to expect. I heard a lot of different stories: rape stories, adoption stories, abuse stories, drug stories, and my story didn't seem so tough anymore. I realized everyone suffers. The whole point of life is to suffer. It's what we do in that suffering that makes us human. Retreat. I went and came back from that weekend with a new view on life. I no longer considered suicide. I was just happy to be alive. It brought back my faith in God. I realized that I had hurt myself and God kept me alive. I felt selfish that I thought my story was any more difficult than anyone else's. Now, as far as the present is concerned, I still only remember the bad things. but I've learned to cherish the good things and hang on to them long enough that it drains out the bad things. Enjoy life, but live it so that you'll have more days to enjoy. Respect life. I didn't. And it hurt me. One last thing to consider. I believe in God, but if you don't believe and can find no real reason to believe, consider this. If you live your life like there is a God and there turns out to be no God, what do you lose? If you live your life like there's no God and there turns out to be a God, you spend eternity paying for it. Even in a coma, I was still a very cute boy. Me and my little sister. Pretty darn cute. 7 years after the wreck. Just cheesing. Senior year of college. She wanted to snuggle. Don't hate. 2008 college graduate. Holla at your boy. I haven't run since the day of the wreck. On October the 23rd, 2015, I wondered if I could. Do you believe in miracles? How about now? All right. All right, everybody. Take a second to digest that. And if everybody wants to go off mute, we can have our little Q&A. How come I'm seeing you twice, Brad? I'm seeing you in two different screens. I don't know why that is. Weird. All right. All right. Now, I want to open this up for anybody who has questions. Feel free to ask away. Brad and his friend are there to answer any questions that you have that you'll help. You feel like will help you in the kind of crafting of this story that you're going to be doing. So I would say I'm opening it up. So are you ready to answer questions, Brad?
1 second.
Okay. So I'll just tell you guys. So Brad speaks with the assistance of an electronic voice device that's called a light writer. I think it's all one word. If you want to describe how he answers some of the questions, you can say that. It's probably important to convey that. A light, L-I-G-H-T writer. I think it's one word. You can check it on Google. But you'll see Brad types out responses, and then it will kind of sound those out in kind of a computer-like voice as he answers questions. Oh. So can we ask questions now?
Not yet.
Not yet?
1 second, please.
Oh, okay. So again, if anybody missed the first couple of minutes, 800 to 1,000 words to in my inbox 11:30 a.m. Thursday. One extra source other than Brad. We are recording, so we will have this whole session recorded and uploaded to the Canvas site on our course site immediately after the class. So if anybody needs this for reference, you'll be able to go back and watch and hear the dramatic reading that I was able to provide. I mean, that alone is worth the price of admission, right? I know I have some theater people in here. Does anybody want to grade my dramatic reading? Oh, Joe gives me Joe gives me the okay. I think I would say just okay as well.
Can you hear you?
Thumbs up. Oh yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Did you hear what he said?
Okay. So Brad, do you want to try saying? Oh, sorry. Try it again.
Okay. Ask away.
Ask away. Is everybody here? Is everybody good with that? Okay. All right. So let's open it up. Who has questions? Joe, unmute yourself.
All right. Hi, Brad. Thank you for talking to us today. I was just curious where you graduated college from. I saw that it was in 2008, so I just wanted to know.
Harvard.
He said Harvard. It's not Harvard. He's not, that is not true.
Thomas More.
That's Thomas More University.
Harvard.
Ask him what his major was, Joe.
What was your major, Brad?
Pimpin.
He said pimping.
Communications with a minor in accounting.
Everybody really liked that pimping joke, Brad. There's a lot of people that I saw laughing on that. That went over better than I think it ever has, really. Maybe it was the setup. It was the dramatic setup because it took a second for you to say that. What other questions do people have? Let's see. Omari?
Brad, have you always, or have your friends always said like you were a jokester? Like I can tell that you are.
yes, just because life is too short to be sad about things I can't control.
That's good advice. Good question. Who else?
I have a question.
Tyler, is that you?
Um, Thank you, Brad. I was just wondering how you knew or met Professor Clark.
Oh, good question. Yeah. Sorry, man. I'm getting this echo. I can't hear you.
You can tell when
So you want me to answer that one? So
Yes.
Tyler, so I mean, probably 10, 12 years ago now, something like. How long have we been friends now? Long time, longer than 10 years, probably. So Tyler, so I've been teaching for like 15 years, probably in different places, Xavier and Northern Kentucky University. And Brad was one of these guys that I heard give this presentation to a class when I was at NKU. And I think I was just like training to be a teacher or something, but I was like so impressed by him and the presentation. And I was like, basically, I want to use him because utilizing his story is way better than anything I could ever teach. So I wanted to be able to use that. And I just think it's a really inspirational message. And so for the past 12, 13 years, something like that, I've had Brad come in various classes that I've taught to present. And then, I mean, other than that too, I mean, we've done other stuff as well. I've written about him for a lot of stuff around this area. And Brad's pretty famous. So I'm just trying to ride his coattails. Is what I'm trying to do. Who else? Anybody? Normally we get pretty personal on these questions. So don't feel bashful about things you want to ask.
you
I have a question.
Mara?
Where do you live now?
I live in an addition of off the side of my sister's place in Crestview Hills, so I have my own little apartment, and I get lots of honeys back here.
Oh God. So that's Crestview Hills, Kentucky. Just a little suburb. It's actually a very rich place in northern Kentucky. Well, that's how you get the honeys. You're not living in Poorsville in northern Kentucky and getting the women.
You
That's how it works.
know how I roll.
Correct. What else? they're not getting deep the way some other folks have gotten before. You know, people asking about, did your girlfriend stay with you? What's your relationship like with the guys now?
I was actually just about to ask, what
Mari, go for it.
do you still talk to the friends you got in an accident with?
The passenger refuses to talk to me, and the driver is in jail for stabbing HS his brother twice with a screwdriver. He's
Lazy.
Wow.
batshit crazy.
He said he stabbed his brother.
Yeah, stabbed his brother twice with a screwdriver. Interesting choice, the screwdriver. Good question. What else?
I have a question.
Tyler.
Brad, I know I saw you were like really big on sports. I was just wondering if you had any like favorite teams or players or what your involvement with sports is now.
I still love football and follow the Bengals and love them because I love punishment.
Oh, it's just even worse. We haven't even talked about what happened this year. Poor Joe.
It's bullshit.
Man, I just hope he comes. I hope he's okay when he comes back. Good question. What else, everybody? What else? Joe.
Do you have any role models or people that inspire you today?
Other than Ryan is what she's asking. I didn't want to jump in. I figured you probably knew what she meant.
I look up to people who just don't let life get them down and who face their challenges head on and just kick the shit out of life.
Awesome.
Oh, oh my God.
What else?
I got a question.
Walt?
Yeah, man, I know you're doing a lot of pimping and stuff out there, So whatever happened to you and old girl, man, player to player.
What?
He can't hear.
Oh, you can't hear me?
What?
No. I said, whatever happened with you and old girl in high school, you doing all that pimping out there in Kentucky, man.
Right.
I might come out there and help you.
She
Whatever happened with her?
stayed with me afterwards and helped me
Okay.
through everything, but then
That's what's up.
things got tough and she
Right.
broke up with me in that May, and she was the first girl I ever loved, so I was
right.
but you know I got back on my game.
So for sure, bro. I already know, man. You know, you had to do your thing. I respect it. Had to come back out. Can't stay in the dumps like that. I feel you, brother. That's what's up. That's dope, man. That's dope.
What else? Good questions. What else?
When you went back for your sophomore year, what was the reception like in the school?
It was awesome because everybody welcomed me back and just treated me like I was the same as always because they knew that's what I wanted.
Good. Anybody else? How old are you now, Brad?
25-ish.
25-ish. Yeah, me too. Yeah, same. Both of us. Good. Good to know. There's one thing that I was wondering that I haven't asked before, but if people haven't been around, and this is a little bit different than if you were to show up to our class, because most of the time the class doesn't know, because I never tell them. It's always kind of a surprise. We're gonna have a speaker for the final, and then you kind of roll in, and people are like, "Oh, what's going on?" Right? I wonder, like, if people aren't around people who are in wheelchairs very often, there's still this like kind of like stigma sometimes about like you kind of like walking on eggshell. You don't really know how to act around, like I wonder like, but what's so great about you and your personality and the way you kind of own your story and stuff is that you make it so. Do you kind of see yourself as kind of like somebody who's like just making it more comfortable for people, who have that stigma, who just don't know how to act around somebody with disabilities or something like that? Like, but with you, it's so easy. I don't know. Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, for me, it's just always been because I don't want sympathy and I see myself the same as anyone else besides not being able to walk or talk much, but sometimes people still treat me like I'm stupid or don't know what they're saying, so I'll mess with people and like pretend I'm deaf or
My God.
something just because life's too short to worry about things I can't do, so why not just enjoy what I can?
Good, man. It's good philosophy. So if anybody Googles Brad, which I encourage you to do, you'll see that he's also kind of gotten this newfound fame because during COVID, he just kind of wanted to spread some joy, I think. And so I guess around maybe the beginning of the springtime, is that right? He just kind of went out and started waving to people out while he was outside. Just went outside and just started waving to people as they were driving by, and this kind of like became like a huge thing. So you'll see like some news coverage and stuff of the of him doing that. And there's a Facebook page, right? And what's it called, Brad? The wheelchair waiver, is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah. So you guys can go check that out as well, and you'll probably find some stories that I've done on him as well. Joe.
So, Brad, what do you think is next in store for you? Do you have anything like plans in the upcoming years or like goals you want to achieve soon?
I'd like to travel some to present and maybe just travel some for fun, but I'd really just like to keep presenting while I look young enough to make a difference with kids and people your age, but other than that, I'm just playing life as it comes, and I'm ready for whatever, but I'd also really like to make a swimsuit calendar of people in wheelchairs, and it's going to be called the Handy Calendar. So
The handy calendar.
up, see a copy.
Nice. Wow. And number one goal right now, avoid COVID. Number one goal.
Yep, because with all my medical problems, I'm pretty much dead if I get COVID.
So wear your masks and protect everybody else. So, all right. Any other questions? Anything else for B. Fritz? Anybody? All right. All right. Y'all feel good? Y'all feel good about this?
Selfie.
About going through the rest of your finals and being positive and living life and enjoying it?
He wants a group selfie.
One more time?
He wants a group selfie.
Oh, a group selfie.
Yeah.
I can do it. Hey, I can do it, Brad. I'll take one for you. I need everybody to cheese real quick.
What do we do?
I don't know what they're doing. Hey, I can just take it, guys. What we got going on? What are we doing there? Well, you voted. Good for you. Way to vote. What are we doing? I see somebody's thumb. What exactly are we doing there?
No, okay. Hold on, I gotta
I am confused.
flip it.
I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys have good stuff to write about. As you can see, I think 1,000 words is going to be pretty easy to pick. So,
Make it focus.
what in the hey?
Let me take a picture.
Hey, Brad. I just need to see your face, and I will take a picture of everybody. So you don't have to do anything. Just put the camera up to your face.
Yeah. Hold this.
There you go. Just leave it like that. Okay. Everybody cheese. All right. 3, 2, 1. Cheese. That was perfect. I think. If some of y'all look really funky, it's going to be funny. So, what was that?
On that t-shirt.
Oh, it came out really. Oh, I look really funny. Okay, yeah, it came out really good.
He's showing you his T-shirt, Ryan.
The Xavier, is that the new one? Is it a really old one? But you're just sporting the X. Way to go, man. 4-0 after a really tough one last night, but
Mac's wife gave it to me,
nice.
and she's very hot, so
I understand. That's great. And a Xavier fan. So hey, I think this one's a keeper. Yeah. Hey man, thank you so much for doing this. I know it was a little technologically challenging for us last night, and we were able to get it done. So that's great. This is a really good class, Brad. They were really good, and I'm excited to see what they get. Hey, if some of the good ones, I'll forward on to you. Okay. Awesome. All right, everybody.
Facebook, Lee.
Oh, right. Right. If everybody wants to follow on Facebook, Hey, I'll put that link in their course on Canvas so they can find it. Sounds good. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Thanks, Brad. I appreciate it, man. Take care. We'll talk. Thank you, everybody. You've been great this semester. If you need anything, you keep in contact, okay? Because I want to know what you all are doing, and I expect to hear from you. So if you need any help or anything like that, just let me know. If anybody needs to stay on and chat, if you have any questions, you have any question about grades, about life, whatever, then just hang out and we can talk. So other than that, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had fun this semester. Hope you came away with some one or two things that you learned. And good luck on the rest of the week. Okay, everybody?
Thank you.
All right, bye, everybody. Remember, do those course evaluations and say good things. So there you go.
Thank you very much.
See you,
Thank you.
everybody. Thanks. Had a blast.
Thank you. See you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, Professor, I had a quick question.
Yeah, who's Tyler? You talking?
Tyler.
What's up?
So for this assignment, do you are we able to like spice it up a little bit with the
Yes.
format?
Most definitely. I would, I think I said from the beginning, I always want somebody who tries to be creative rather than not. So if you try and it doesn't work, I give way more points for the effort on that than to just do something boring.
All right, cool. I was just making sure. I didn't know if you had any like specific, because it's a final project. All right, cool.
Other than what we've already talked about, other than like the word count, make sure you got another voice in there, just that kind of stuff. But yeah, man, do it however you want.
Thank you. Thank you for the
Awesome.
semester and everything.
Awesome, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for your participation and stuff. I really appreciate it.
Yep.
Josh, Anthony, what's up?
So I just wanted to check in with you. I know I had gotten in a lot of those like late assignments and stuff.
Yep.
Back for you, and
Yep.
I've been basically doing that exact same thing for pretty much all the other classes I'm taking and stuff. I just wanted to make sure that everything was paved out with your class and everything as far as my academics look and everything.
So long as we get your final in by 11:30, and it's within the parameters that we talked about, I have you down for a B for the class.
Solid.
And so long as you're good with that, I think you've done very well to get back into the swing. So
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
well, I appreciate you. I mean, I appreciate your communication, and I appreciate you you kind of making it through whatever. I mean, everybody's got their stuff that they're going through.
Sure.
I think you did really well on.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I really appreciate it.
Hey, man, I'm right there with you.
For sure, and I'll be in touch over the
Good.
next. I'll be here for a little extra time, so I'll be in touch with you.
Good. I expect it. And if you need anything, you let me know.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, man. Take care.
You as well.
Thanks. What's up, Josh?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I mean, this past couple of days they've been
So
up and down.
Are you home?
Yeah, I'm home right now. Well, I've been home this whole semester.
Oh, right. Okay.
So, but I mean, now with having COVID, I'm basically staying in the same area I've been this whole semester.
Got it.
But I mean, now I'm just taking more like precaution things because my dad doesn't have it. We both got tested at the same time, and he doesn't have it, but I do. So we're just trying to be careful as much as we can.
Well, that is a good plan. So
yeah, I'm on the good side of it. So I mean, it's still early, but I'm hoping it stays like this and I get better. Because I mean, like I said, I don't really feel like sick right now.
Good.
So I'm definitely
you felt sick this weekend.
Yeah, like I had like the fever, I had the chills,
Yeah.
I had like stomach pain,
Sure.
a little bit trouble with breathing, but I'm definitely like 90% better on that. I had a headache one night where I couldn't really sleep.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was just bad.
Okay. Well,
I
I mean,
took,
it sounds like you've gotten at least through a little bit of it, so that's good.
yeah.
Good. Okay.
But
So
I
you,
wanted to what did you say?
I was just saying, so you feel okay about doing this?
Yeah, I feel good about doing this. Like
Okay.
I have the energy to do it.
Okay.
The question I was gonna ask you is I wasn't in the class last week, and I know I emailed you the assignment. I think it was assignment 4 with the
Yeah.
commercial ads.
Yep. Got it.
I just want to make sure that you got that.
I did. I got it, and you're good. I mean, you have everything turned in, and
Okay.
you're good. So long as you're able to do what, and you have all the, we went over the rules and what you got to do for Thursday.
Yeah.
So long as you got that, man, you're set. So one thing I don't think you have to worry about this one. What I don't know what's going on in other classes, but
Yeah.
I think you're set for us. So
Yeah. I can definitely get it done. Like
Good.
I actually talked to Walter because I wasn't in the class last week, so I
Yeah.
asked him like what did I miss, and
Good.
he told me for sure to be in this class so I can
Good.
figure out what's on the final. So
Awesome. Okay, good. All right. Well, if you have any other questions or you have any concerns, if anything comes up, if you start to feel bad or something like that, let me know and we'll figure out what we can do. Okay.
all right, I will.
I would probably try just to hop on it and get as much as you can finished,
Yeah.
just so if it takes a turn that you're okay. So, and
Yeah, I can do it.
Walt would be a good person to ask what he thought about this, because he had a pretty good rapport going with him on his questions. So I think
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, man. Well, I appreciate it, and I appreciate you communicating, and just get over this, and then we'll all get through it. So
I will. Thanks again.
thank you, sir. I appreciate it, and I will let you know when I get your stuff turned in. You'll get an email back from me. So
Okay. Thank you.
all right, thanks, man.
Stay